Dela's Voice has been made possible by the generosity of sponsors like you. What makes live shows so special is that interaction between the viewer and the host and the guest, whether it's through the chat or the live phone calls. This connection is created because people are allowed to share their experiences, their feelings, their thoughts. And this makes for a beautiful dynamic of energy that's connecting people in so many different ways. And that's how we learn. That's the best way we can help one another, is by connecting at such deep levels. This is Dela Fotoohi, the host of Dela's Voice, hoping to spark your soul. Hello. Welcome to another Dela's Voice Sunday live talk show. I hope wherever you are in this beautiful world that you are having a beautiful Sunday and you're ready to spend the next hour together to learn from another incredible individual, to hear another inspiring story. And my hope today is that after the show, after this is all done, you'll take away something inspiring that will help you along your journey. I want to invite you, please, to share this with someone else that you think might benefit from the story being told today. It is with sharing our stories that we can impact one another. I truly believe that. And that's the reason why Dela's Voice ever started, was to provide a platform where we can hear one another and learn from each other's experiences. Today, I am blessed to have another incredible story on the show. This is a story of faith over fear, a young woman's courage to push through traumatic brain injury. Khali Zabian was a freshman at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. She was to be enrolled in the Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps when she went home for the summer. During her freshman year, she got into a car accident, which left her with a severe traumatic brain injury. This week, we are going to talk to Khali and hear how every day she sums up the courage to push through and live her life. Because for most of us, going through an experience like this is impossible to imagine. It's my pleasure to introduce Khali Zabian. Hello, Khali. How's this Sunday going for you? Good. I'm glad you're here today. So I want to, first of all, send a big thank you to our mutual friend, Jeffrey Morse, for this introduction. I hear you have a fantastic story to tell. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to start. But first of all, do you want to say hi to our viewers? They're spending their Sunday afternoon with us, so we have to say hi to them.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we want to welcome every single one of you viewers on behalf of myself and Khali. Thank you for being here. Okay. So, Khali, you wanted to be what exactly when you started school?
I started school.
Yeah.
I started out with engineering for my first semester,
Uh-huh.
and I switched to physiology.
What were you going to be?
I mean, specifically
Yeah.
like a pilot's physiologist.
A pilot's physiologist. I have no idea what that means.
Like for the Air Force, just kind of for all the pilots, making sure they're all like safe and healthy.
So like a doctor for the pilots.
Yep.
Okay. And so this is what you wanted to be ever since you were a kid?
Not since I was a kid. like in high school
Uh-huh.
and everything. It's very
Yeah.
competitive. I played sport like soccer and lacrosse. It turned out when I graduated, I wanted to pay for my own school. So I read up like if I joined Air Force ROTC, I'd get a scholarship.
Ah.
So
Okay. Yes. Wow. Yeah, I would imagine that would be highly competitive, wouldn't it?
yep.
Yeah. Um, so you started school. How was it going? Were you enjoying it?
You can say you remember.
I don't necessarily remember, but I'd say so.
Okay, well this is where you have to help me out, because I think for most of us, we don't know what happens when someone has a brain injury. So let's go back. Let's go back to your car accident. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Do you remember that?
And I don't remember it. My family's told me all about it.
Okay, so you want to tell us a little bit about what you know, what happened?
Yep. So it turned out like summer for my freshman year. Like coming home from my last day of work for the summer. It was a couple weeks before returning to school. Ended up like hitting a guardrail in my drive home. And it turns out that man and his wife ended up pulling up behind me. He had a flashlight. So he ended up coming to help me guide traffic around my car.
And it must have been pretty bad.
Yep,
Were
and it
you
turned out there was like one driver who did not slow down at all. He ended up just screaming, "Run!" Ended up getting hit by that driver.
So then I guess you went into a coma right away. Were you
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so they took you to the hospital. Man, that must have been devastating for your parents to hear that news.
Yep.
So then you go to the hospital, and at that point, what were the doctors telling your parents? Were you going to make it?
The worst. They were telling my parents the worst.
I bet. Was Khali going to make it, did they say?
We were like kind of not sure.
Yeah. So you were unconscious for how long?
It's like a couple weeks, I think.
Okay. And so during that time, no sign of you making it? You wouldn't know that, Kelly. I'm asking you the questions that I should be asking your mom, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at her. She's like,
Yeah, I know. I that's fine. That's okay. Hi, Lisa.
I feel like some of the gaps. So she was brought to the hospital unconscious. She had died, and then they resuscitated her. When she got to the hospital, they weren't sure if she was going to make it. She had 8 hours of brain surgery. So they had to remove her skull first from the right side and then from the left side. And when the surgery was over about 8, 9 hours, the doctor wasn't sure if she was going to survive. She was airlifted to a different hospital, and she was in a coma for a few days, but then she started to, move a finger and open her eye, and then we saw signs. But it was she was in the ICU for about 3 weeks before she was transferred out and then able to go to rehab.
Man, as a mom, I can just imagine how that must have been for you and the family. Oh my gosh. Did you lose hope, Lisa?
We didn't. we felt that if she survived the night, we just felt that she was in God's hands, and that he what was going to be was going to be. But we definitely felt hopeful that she was going to survive, and we just held on to our faith. We just tons and tons of people, thousands of people started praying for her, and we just held on to that faith that she was going to be okay.
Ah,
What okay looked like, we weren't sure, but yeah.
yeah, of course. So, what's the first thing you remember, Khali?
First thing I remember,
Yes.
coming home.
Okay. Okay. And so at that point, what were you thinking? What was going on through your head?
At that point, I'm just happy to be home.
Mm-hmm. Did you know what had happened?
Partially, but not specifically.
Okay. So how were you physically then when you were coming home? What were you able to do? What weren't you able to do?
I mean, the only thing I was able to do was I had a full brace from all the way my hip, like straight down my left leg. I was only able to walk in that.
Were you talking?
Yes.
Okay. So you were talking. So your ability to speak, that has been affected by the injury, correct?
Yep. And also my hearing as well.
On one side or both sides?
Because when I ended up getting hit by the car, ended up hitting on the left side, which like swung me, ended up landing on the right side of my head. Which like broke a couple like bones in my right ear. So now I have a hearing aid, which is helping like a lot.
Yes. Yes. If at any point of time you need me to speak louder, just shout, okay?
Yep.
Okay. So your hearing was affected, your speech was affected, and obviously your movement. Could you move your arms?
No, just like entirely right dominant.
Okay.
My injury caused more like left side paralysis.
Uh-huh. And is it the same right now?
Feel a lot better now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So at this point, when you're coming home and you're happy to be home, but all these things have changed for you, and you're a young woman starting out college. So what were you telling yourself, Khali?
And I was telling myself like repeatedly, like, happened for a reason. God saved me for a reason.
Wow. I don't know too many people who can go through something like this and this is what they're thinking. I mean, most people would be like, what did this happen to me? You know, what did I ever do 21?
Yep. Because I was
Right?
thinking about it. Like, if it didn't happen, kind of be like out, like on Air Force Base somewhere doing who knows what.
So,
Like God did not want that for me.
so what did God want for you, Khali?
He definitely wants me like spreading His word.
What is his word? What specifically about his word are you?
Specifically,
Yeah. Are you spreading?
I mean, specifically, the one thing I felt in my heart when I came home was just helping others in my position. It's actually pretty exciting because through the Brain Injury Association in Mass, I'm actually starting my own support group from young adults my age.
Are there a lot of people who are in this position, Khali?
No,
At
so
your age?
there is quite a bit because I'm actually part of a support group for the Brain Injury Association, and they're all like quite a bit older than me. And I asked them if they have a young adult one. They said they don't have someone to run it. And I asked if I could myself run it. They welcomed me right in.
Okay. So this is really incredible to me. Okay, so you're going through this, most people would call horrific accident, and the first thing you're telling yourself is, God has a plan for me.
Yep.
Were you always like this? Were you always?
Not
No?
really.
No.
Funny because in college I kind of stuck to my own plan. Like was
Mhm.
just very like strict to
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. So what led to this mindset then? I mean, what happened?
Actually, because after my accident, I lost all my memories, like high school, college, everything. The one thing my heart held on to was my faith. So I did turn to that. And just like the only way I'm going to like grow and prosper is just turning to God and have Him lead me.
Kelly, this is so important. A lot of people, when they go through something difficult, a hardship, they lose hope.
Yep.
And I think that's the worst part of um, getting stuck.
Yep. It is.
Right? Yeah. So you noticed that too with the people that you're helping. What is something they all talk about? They all complain about. What is the one thing that's holding them back?
Don't really know yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only started it on Facebook.
Okay.
Haven't actually started like meeting anyone yet.
Okay. But what do you think that would be? Because you went through it yourself. And so what do you think would be something that they need help with?
And I remember like early when I first, came home, something I really struggled with.
Yeah. What was
Just
that?
expressing like anything, just talking. Like even though it's like around my family, just did not feel comfortable. Like expressing my emotions, feelings.
Why were you not comfortable?
I mean, mostly because like early on when I came home, she kind of like pretty sad all the time. So just kind of like, why did this happen? Just questioning even why I'm alive.
I mean, I think that would be normal,
Yep.
right? And how important were your parents' reaction when you were feeling that way,
Very important.
right?
And they just kept reminding me just turn to God.
Let's say hi to some people, okay? And if you want to grab some water, this is a good time. Let me just go through the lots of messages. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for all the messages. Robert says hi to you. And Frida says hi to you. And Sharam says hi to you. And Robert says, serving others in a meaningful way is one of the most healing things I have ever done in my life. What would you say is the most meaningful way for you to live your life, Kelly?
Just focus on all the blessings and positivity.
Mm-hmm. What are you grateful for?
For everything. Like extremely grateful. Actually, my college friends flew all the way like in to come visit me in the hospital and everything.
That's so nice. But you don't remember. Do you remember?
And I don't remember college because my friends stayed in touch with me. I actually remember them.
But you remember them.
Yep, because they actually stayed in contact with me.
Yes, and they came and visited you at the hospital. When you were at the hospital, Callie, and you had all these visitors, did you know they were there? Did you feel them there? Did you feel the presence?
Mom said, not really.
No, not really. But like I've spoken to a lot of people who have had strokes. And so, some of them say that when they were laying on that hospital bed, they felt the presence of the people around them. And they felt if people around them were happy and positive and they brought the good energy and hope, they felt that. And that was a big part of the reason they hung on, was because they felt that. Well, what do you think of that? What's your take on this?
And I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think mostly like personally, because I have strong faith, even if you're not like conscious, you can't really recognize people, you still feel their presence on you.
Yeah. Mark Peebles is here, and Mark says, you're an amazing woman. Your faith is inspiring. Stay strong.
Thank you.
So back to being grateful, because I really strongly believe in the power of gratitude, Callie. Gratitude has helped me in my own journey. and I'm actually doing some research on gratitude right now, and its effects and its impacts on people's lives. It's amazing, the power of gratitude. Do you believe in the power of gratitude?
Do.
Do you practice gratitude?
Do.
So, if I asked you, and I'm going to put you on a spot here, okay? If I ask you to tell me what you are grateful for in life right now, to give me 5 things that you are grateful for, what would they be?
I mean, one would be like when I got home, extremely grateful my high school math and English teacher like talked to my mom and kind of started reteaching me everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a good one.
Yep. Also,
Go ahead. I'll come back to that one.
yeah, stream with my family, just welcome me right in, and also like anything I'd ask for any help, and just automatically just help me right away. And also that during freshman year, like had a boyfriend, started dating, kind of rushed right here. My accident happened. Extremely grateful he stayed with me through all of this.
He's still your boyfriend?
No,
No.
more now.
Friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I was younger in like high school, I was quite a musician. I'm extremely grateful. My violin teacher started all over teaching me the violin again.
Oh my goodness. Are you able to play?
I am.
Oh man. That's
Turns out like for my therapy, like extremely grateful for all my physical therapists, for helping me build strength, and for my speech therapists, for me to like kind of get more out of my comfort zone, like to actually talk to people and express my feelings.
And look at you now. You're on a talk show having an interview.
Yep.
Good for you.
Also, turned like physically, I really struggled with my balance. My mom researched what would help me. Extremely grateful. Horseback riding is the answer to that.
Seriously.
Yep.
Okay. Who would have thought that, that's the thing to do when you have a TBI?
Yeah.
Okay, so so tell me a little bit about that, because I find that really interesting. So you go and ride horses, obviously. Do you have a horse in particular that knows you now?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
When I first started riding, still wearing that full brace, which I couldn't ride in. So Michael had to like carry me to put me on the horse. They only had one horse they could do that on. So their one therapy horse who was like sensitive enough not to actually wait until I get on and continue to riding.
Okay.
So happy that I finally grew out of my full brace. Now only need like a small AFO on my ankle. I can get on horse myself.
Okay, tell me what AFO is, because I have no idea.
So from your knee down, like on your calf and ankle.
Okay.
So because I have like kind of paralysis in my ankle.
Yeah.
So I just need something to like prevent my ankle from twisting.
Gotcha. So instead of a full brace, it's like a little, just it holds where it's supposed to. Okay. Yep. And you ride this horse, and it's helped you with your balance?
It really has.
Amazing. Your mom is incredible. You have great parents. Very, very, very great parents. Okay. We're going to go back to your math and English teacher.
Yep.
So you had to relearn everything, Kelly?
I mean, the only thing I could do was just read.
So you could read. You could make out the words, and you could read, no problem. You remembered how to do
writing I could do.
And writing you could do.
Because it turned out like before I actually started talking in the hospital, I would just write.
Wow. And you were able to hold a pen, or were you using a device?
I mean, I could hold it in my right hand.
Okay. And so what about math?
I mean, math, kind of start all over with basics.
Mm-hmm. Like numbers?
Just like adding, multiplying, like starting with basics.
Yeah. Was that frustrating for you?
It's like a lot of studying involved in that one.
Yeah. And I want to know, so what was going on through your mind when you were trying to learn this math that must have seemed really difficult? And I would think you're like, oh, I've already done this before, you know?
Yeah. Because the more I like kind of studied it and did it over and over, the more it shut back my memories.
Oh, and then you would remember things.
Yep.
Oh, but that must have been exciting, right? Every time you remembered something, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
a light bulb. Kelly, has apart from you're gonna laugh at me when I ask this question. Apart from the paralysis and the aphasia and all that good stuff, did you find this journey exhilarating? I want to say exhilarating because I mean I look at your face and you're telling me the story and you're smiling.
Yeah.
I feel like you had fun.
Yep.
How did you do that?
Actually helps that, I have no memories of the hospital or anything. So all my memories just start out positive.
This is a really big message, Kelly, right? Because how many people come home from something like this and it's everybody around them, of course they have the right to be sad and in despair. But how does it affect that person?
I mean, it does take time. I remember when I first came home, I was kind of like stuck, like kind of dreading on losing. Like can't go back to college or anything. So you kind of have to kind of set your boundaries. Like can't look back at that. So have to start anew. It's kind of a big step for me.
It is. How did you accomplish that?
And just remembered kind of just getting too negative on myself. And I kind of realized I only think about all the things I'm missing. I'm not going to get any better. And kind of just realizing moment. I was just pray about it. Just, heal and get better. For God to lead me. And I heard from parents all the time about all my new therapists to help me. So I just started thinking about all the positives and all the people helping me.
This is a big lesson in life, I think, for everybody, because how many times we look at a situation that we're in and oh my God, I'm so unlucky. When is my life ever going to change? Or, or something like this happens. A little accident happens. Oh, I'm so unlucky. Why did this happen to me? And we forget to see the good, right? We forget to see what's working. And that's a big, I think that's what stops people too from moving forward, because they're constantly looking in the back mirror, in the rear view mirror, at what they've lost and not looking at what could come out of this, right?
Yep.
Stephen Albright is here with us too, and he says, my brain tried to kill me twice, and God is in my corner. What do I have to be afraid of? And he put AFO, ankle foot orthotic. Oh, thank you, Stephen. Yay. Yay, Stephen. He knows. Thank you, Stephen. And guess what? Jeffrey Morse is here. And he says, hello, Dela and Callie. Just wanted to say hi and thank each of you for your inspiration. Thank you, Jeffrey, for this introduction. Okay, so back to so algebra and no, you said math and English. So you start algebra. I hate that word algebra. It gives me shivers. So you're learning to read again and to write again and to do math, and then you start you start again to play the violin because you played the violin. And so what happened? Like, tell me about that first time you ever said, okay, let me pick this up now because your one side is paralyzed. How
Yep.
do you, how are you supposed to do that?
It was actually interesting because I did have like an occupational therapist who would like work with me with my left hand, like doing all sorts of different things. And when I graduated from her, she kind of came to mind like, why don't I try my violin again?
You said that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did, and I finally, could actually play notes with my left hand again. So my mom did contact my violin teacher and set that up for me.
That first time you picked up the violin, what happened?
I mean, first time I did, could
Yes.
not coordinate my left fingers to play anything. So I was like, gonna have to like keep working on it and wait till I'm ready.
You didn't say, I'm never going to play the violin again.
Actually interesting. She started like, because I tried my violin the first time, wasn't ready. Tried the piano. I was like, maybe just getting some movement. My left hand start would be easier.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course. I can't play the violin. Let me try the piano. Why
Yep.
not? You're amazing. Angela is here with us. Angela Trevivian. Hi, Angela. She says inspiring. So then at no point did you say, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna give up trying. Did you ever say that to yourself, Callie? Was there ever days when you're like, I'm tired of this?
No.
No, of course not. Look at you laughing. It's like you haven't seen nothing yet. Tell me.
There's actually one part in me that did not change after my accident, which is my fighting spirit. So I keep pushing myself.
You were always a fighter?
Yep.
What do you think of life, Callie? I say the word life.
So blessed I am to be alive.
And when you say that to yourself, how does it impact you?
It's like a big realization. Like no matter what I'm missed out on because of this, I'm still like look at what I have today.
So much to learn from this young lady. So much. Because so many of us take life for granted every single day, Kelly. Yeah. And so you must come across some people and then you hear something from them and maybe they're complaining about something. And in your mind, you're like, oh my God, just snap out of it, will you? You're laughing. How many times does that happen? Tell me.
It's funny.
It is funny, right?
It is. So my response to that is just like, look at it from my viewpoint. Like if you were in my skin, which normally has them realize like how ridiculous they're being.
Mm-hmm. Do they realize right away?
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can imagine you feeling like, oh my God, I could just laugh for you right now for saying that. I tell you. So you look back at your life. How old are you, Kelly?
22.
22. When's your birthday?
March 18th.
Nice. Nice. You're almost a spring baby. Yeah. So you look at your life and most of it you don't remember. It's like you were just born.
Yep.
Right? And so do you look at your accident now and say, what do I make out of that? Ask yourself that question. What do I make out of this accident? Why did it happen to me?
I mean, it's been 3 years so far for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like the accident never happened. Just like as far as being reborn to my new self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would you ever want to go back and change that? Is that clear, my question?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. It's kind of a tough.
No, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think so.
Things would have turned out different.
Yeah.
Why do you think that accident happened?
I mean, I think happened, first, teach that boy who ended up hitting me, like teach him a lesson. And also I was thinking, God did not want me heading down that path I was on.
Are you happy, Khali?
I am.
Yeah, I couldn't tell because you don't smile much. It's easy for someone who's been through something like this to say, it was just this bad luck and whatever, and it happened. Now I have to move on. But to actually be able to look back and learn a lesson, or just asking ourselves that question, what was the lesson in that? How important do you think that is in people's lives?
And I think it's extremely important
Mm-hmm.
because how easy it is to kind of get caught up in all the things we don't have, to kind of reflect on everything we have.
Mm-hmm. What is this new path for you, Khali?
New path.
Yeah.
Really interesting that when I first came home, like Faith to Faith Ministries came and asked me if they could film like my whole recovery journey, which they did agree to. My actual gospel mentories going like all around.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a whole film they made about how my faith kind of helped me grow.
Because faith is really, really important, right? I mean, and it doesn't have to be faith for something specific, but as long as you have that faith, right? That things are going to be okay because
Yep.
a force outside of myself is protecting me. That is really, really inspiring. That's really, really hopeful, right?
Yep.
And what's the fear part, Khali, for you?
And the fear part, what having my faith helps me with. So whenever I get like thinking about something, get like scared, I just think, well, God's right with me, protecting me. So that's something I try to inspire people the most with, just take a leap of faith, knowing God's got you.
It's not easy.
It's not, but
right?
Yep.
What was the biggest fear for you, Khali?
Pretty sure horseback riding was at first. Like how
yeah, that would scare me. Were you scared to be on here?
No.
No.
Yeah. Because Jeffrey, it's actually like been talking to for quite a bit, kind of trusted me to do this, so I kind of just, was like, if you trust me, then I can do it.
Wow. So we talked about trusting yourself.
Yep.
Right? But having someone else trust you, have trust in your abilities. How important is that for someone's recovery journey?
I think very important. Especially early on recovering. It's like telling them, you trust in them that they're going to be okay. Like extremely important in them learning to trust themselves.
Because for a lot of people, it's really hard to find what they're good at, right? Finding our own strengths are really, really hard. Or if I look at you, I can jot down a million things about your strengths and your qualities, right? But usually we're really hard on ourselves, so we don't really see those strengths.
Yep.
So having someone else point them out to us, it's so helpful.
Yep.
So I think I missed a couple of messages here. Let me go back here. Jeffrey says, Khali is very brave, and her ability to look forward, live her life, and see a wonderful world around her is a spectacular definition of mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, so talk about mindfulness. What does that mean to you, mindfulness, Khali?
Being self-aware means that to me.
How do you practice that?
Actually, one of my fellow survivor friends kind of helped me with this a lot. She gave me great advice. He told me, don't think emotionally about things, because that's how you tend to get all worked up. Just look at things logically, which helped me to be mindful about myself. Look at things logically and think about them.
It's easier said than done. I
Yes.
must say, right? Because how can you not be emotional in your own predicament?
Yeah.
So how do you do that? How do you look at things logically? Is there a process to that?
Yeah.
Can you share with us?
Yep. Like more when early, like first maybe year, second year I got home. Like when I went out to see like my friends for the first time. Like kind of noticed myself getting a little emotional and nervous. Like kind of working myself up. Like think because I'm not the same person. They might not like me. Thinking about it logically. Think think they know what happened to me, and yet they're going out of their way to like spend time with me. It's like look at it calmly.
You're a very wise young woman.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Truly, to be able to kind of step out of yourself and right to look at your situation from outside instead of being involved in all those emotions. That's what you're talking about here. And I think everybody's capable of doing that, but it takes practice, like you said, Kelly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it takes mindfulness. And so good for you for exercising that. Um, Robert says, we are born with all the faith we need. Learning how to exercise this is the key. And Stephen says, Della is not scary. I hope not. And in times of adversity, logic can be a great companion, especially when backed by faith. This is what Robert says. We have another person here, Omid S, and he says hello. And let me see here. Stephen says, I'm going to use that use logic thought process. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And Robert says, and wrapped in gratitude as well. See, we've got so many elements to this talk. We've got faith and we've got logic and we've got gratitude. Really, that's all you need. And that's that, folks. I think Kelly said it all today. It's awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing your story with us. What would you like to leave us with today?
And just hold strong in your faith.
Say that again.
Just hold strong in your faith.
Hold strong in your faith. That what?
That you will rise.
That you'll rise above.
Just like your injury, and you'll like heal.
Whatever that is.
Yep.
Why, Kelly?
Because no matter what our injuries may be, there's nothing that we ourselves can really do, like to heal ourselves, like more emotionally. We need to, be guided to the right people. So we just trust, in God where He's leading us, and trust that He's healing us emotionally and everything.
What's your message to someone who may be listening to this and they're in a really rough place, and they're giving up on life? They just don't want to be here anymore.
I mean, my advice would be turn to the light and turn to God.
How important is life?
Life's like extremely important. Or if anyone's stuck in like darkness and they want to continue to live, and you have to turn to the light. Just focus on all the positives and just like get rid of all the negatives in your life.
Life is beautiful, Kelly.
It is.
I mean, with all with all the horrible things that happen, life is still beautiful. Because the alternative sucks.
Yep.
Well, Kelly, I'm so happy that your faith got over your fear and you held up strong, and that you decided to show up for you and stay and show up for other people. What's next for Khali Zabian?
She's going to be taking a fall class.
A fall class? Go back to school?
Yep. She's going to BCC. I'm going to audit a class.
What are you going to study?
I'm going to study
psychology. That's what I'm doing too, Kelly. I've gone back to school at the age of 50 to study psychology. Yes, I know I don't look 50.
No, you don't.
You can tell me that later. Yeah, life is life is exciting, right? When you can look at what's great in life, because there's always something that we can find that we can be grateful for. Those sources are there. We just have to look for them, right? Kelly, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And is there anything else you want to add? No?
No,
Okay. So, do you want to say anything to our viewers?
thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. In fact, and we're gonna keep watching you, Khali Zabian. I know you're gonna do great things in life, and I want to thank you for sharing your story on Dela's Voice once again. And for everyone who's been watching this today, I want to thank every single one of you for spending the past hour with us. I hope that you took something from this talk and that will inspire you to do great things. This has been Della's Voice, hoping to spark your soul. Bye, everybody.